the Lakers. And in sports, there are nights where you just get handled, and that's what happened to the Lakers tonight, big game. One of those nights, second and third quarters where I look at, the Grizz outscored the Lakers 80-56. They put up 38 in the second, shot 73% from the field. Then they backed that up and put up 42 in the third, built up a 29-point lead.
Memphis, they're the real deal. Led by a great player in Ja. They're very athletic. And, they play the small ball, so if the Lakers wanted to see the real version of it, they saw it against Memphis. 62 points in the paint, a lot of things we talked about that they just could not allow, and that was one of them, 62 points in the paint. Grizz got 25 fast break points. We can look at the numbers, but it's just the way Memphis play, and the Lakers, even though they're trying to play small ball, they just couldn't match up against this team tonight. They're a good team, really good team.
Yeah, this matchup, the speed difference, like the fast break points, 25-10, that's one thing, but you could see the difference between how fast, if the Lakers missed a shot or turned it over, they had absolutely no chance of getting back and slowing this team down. And the thought I was in the middle of was the Lakers have had success with this smaller lineup and the offensive efficiency really jumping up over the last couple weeks. And the defensive side of the basketball, while it's been okay, it hasn't been great. So then when you run up against a team that is really good
and on fire
and playing well, it kind of highlights and puts the light back on the reality that to be good, you still have to defend at a really high level, even if you're scoring the basketball. And the Lakers just could not slow this team down tonight on the defensive end.
Down two starters, Memphis, Dillon Brooks and Steven Adams. John Morant, their leader, their superstar, that play he made, that block on Avery Bradley early in the game where he grabbed it with two hands, incredible. That went viral. But tonight was about balance for them. 6 guys in double figures. James, you mentioned the 25 fast break points, 62 points in the paint. They out-rebounded Lakers. They just beat them in every single facet of the game. And you could tell they kind of relish this matchup. They're the second youngest team in the league. Right now they're winning. 12 of 13 on the road they've won. They feel good, and they love it. They love coming in here. They love punking the Lakers. You could see.
Yeah, I
mean, it's early. It's January.
Yeah, it's early.
They're enjoying it. Yeah.
Historically, you always want to beat the Lakers. It's always been about beating the best. But, even without 2 players, it doesn't matter because their system is what works. I mean, they have individual players that make it work, but the system, no matter who, you can plug in different players. If you have certain players on the court like Bane and Ja Morant, you have them on the court still. You just plug in a couple of players, and they still doing the same thing, Gita. They're still running. They're still, moving fast, breaking down the defense, getting, easy shots. So it's that system that works. They got great players, but they win with or without certain players in the game.
Yeah, they're kind of figuring out how to win different ways, too. I remember when the Lakers played them recently in Memphis. The Lakers actually played great for 3 quarters. Had a nice lead. Memphis had that big run at the end of the third and kind of continued in the fourth. It was a great game down the stretch, but it was the physicality, the offensive rebounds with Steven Adams and those second-chance opportunities. Great game by Desmond Bane. That got it done the last time they played. This time, you were right, Fish. Speed off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, Memphis's team is built with guys that, look at the guys that were on the floor for the Lakers with the 21-0 run in the fourth quarter when the game got interesting. Austin Reeves, Kent Bazemore, Wayne Ellington, DeAndre Jordan, guys that at this point in their careers, the only way you can get on the floor is to play that hard, fly around the court, get deflections, loose balls. Memphis Grizzlies, their whole roster is like that. And that's the way they play the game. So it doesn't matter who's in or out. You're still going to get the same level of intensity, attention to detail, sharing the basketball. And, that's just the difference. In the regular season in January, those are really, really difficult teams to play against that play that hard.
When you look at the Lakers, James and Fish, LeBron with another great night offensively. He had 35. He was on it in the first half. He had over 20. Getting into a Desmond Bain a little bit there too. We'll talk about that a little later. That's his 12th out of 13 games, I think, where he's been over 30. He's 14 of 19. But when you look at the rest of the Laker team, they really struggled. I look at the starting guards. Malik had one of his off nights. Russ, Avery Bradley, they're just 7 for 35. That's a struggle.
Memphis also defends very well. They're quick, they're agile, they're capable of switching a lot. But the thing that sticks out to me is when you're trying to guard Memphis, it's hard. You're spending a lot of energy. You're demoralized a lot the way they're doing you, and then your offense suffers a little bit. And I think that's what happened. They just, they weren't getting the small ball shots that they were getting normally because they were playing against a smaller team who could defend and take away a lot of things. So it's something that Vogt is going to have to look at if he wants to continue to play that small lineup.
Yeah, and when you, like you said, Big Game, when you're playing smaller, Malik Monk has been shooting the basketball so well. Avery Bradley shooting the basketball from the perimeter so well. And when those shots aren't going in, especially early, LeBron starts to pick up the slack. He's carrying them offensively, but it's really not how the Lakers are necessarily built to play that way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Melo's going to make some shots. That's who he's always been. Malik's been hot. He can score. Avery Bradley, great defender, can shoot. But that's not really how the Lakers are going to be successful long term, right? It's still going to come back to that defensive activity that can get them out in transition and get easy ones. So if you get outscored 25-10 in fast break points, that's not a recipe for success for this version of this Lakers team. They need easy baskets to then move the scoreboard. You can't rely on just the shooting to get it done.
Slow offensive game for Russ tonight, guys. Just 6 points, 2 for 12.
Yeah. When his little 12-footer, which he's made a living off of his whole career, when that's not dropping for him, he kind of forces a lot of layups. And, he's not finishing them, they're not going in. So, and, like Fish saying, you're not getting any fast break points. You're not getting out and running.
That's when he's at his best.
You need to see that ball go in a couple times. Then your 15-footer feels a little better taking it. But when you're forced to take that 15-footer or the outside shot, you're not getting anything easy. It makes for a tough night sometimes.
And Fish, you've seen a lot of Russ basketball games. What are you seeing right now with this Lakers team? By the way, he's had some great games too. Yeah. He had the no turnovers and he's had some good offensive nights. But just some nights, just trying to find the way and being almost like a non-factor.
Yeah, I think, and we talked about that. It's been a while, but if anybody on the team has had to make the greatest adjustment to who they've always been or what's made them most successful prior to this particular season, it's Russ. He's been asked to be the most different version of himself than anybody else. So there's going to be that inconsistency in his play when you're asking him each night sometimes to do different things.
Yep.
But here's the thing. That's part of the job. That's why you get paid the big bucks, Geets.
A lot of money.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? And Russ is tough enough mentally to figure it out. It's just unfortunate that the team has been also inconsistent. So then there's more spotlight on a particular guy that's being inconsistent. But he'll be